Places in the Heart is a 1984 film, which was one of the, I guess you could say it's Oscar bait material. It was successful in that regard because it was nominated for a whole bunch of Oscars. Sally Field won her second for lead actress. This is a film about people. The sheer humanity and joy of all these people around. That's what gives the movie its juice. That's what makes this movie so good. It takes place in the 1930s, Texas. And because Texas is one of those southern states in the 1930s, what was running pretty rampant back then? Racism. Sally Field is this housewife. She lives in a rural town, and her husband accidentally gets shot and killed. Just a freak accident by a young black kid. Because he had such a good job, and she was a housewife, and there's all the funeral expenses and all that stuff. There's the possibility of the bank foreclosing on her house and her property. So, she doesn't want any of that stuff to happen. And there's also the possibility of her two kids getting split up, which is also a terrible thing. She gets some help from some people in town. One dude recommends John Malkovich rent a room at her house to help pay for things. John Malkovich's character is a blind man. He's pretty good at finding his way around, but he's wallowing in self-pity, and he doesn't like when people stare at him or feel too sorry for him. But eventually he grows as a character. Danny Glover, it's in the 1930s. Sometimes he'll steal things to survive. And Sally Field hires him to grow cotton in her garden so that she can sell it, make all the money needed to keep the land in the house. Because cotton is pretty high up on the market, she'll make a good amount with it. When all that stuff is happening, there's some other things going on, like there's weather, there's people in town kind of talking about them behind their backs. There's racism, as I said, 1930s southern state, KKK. Sally Field's determination to keep the land, it helps, of course, her joy and her happiness and her determination does rub off onto everyone, but she also wants to be generous with the money that she's going to be getting. Of course she wants to keep the house and the land, but she also wants to give a considerable amount to Danny Glover and some of his family and friends, and a considerable amount to John Malkovich, because that's just what's fair to do. It's very, very beautiful the way that everyone grows as individuals. Very beautiful stuff. But what really surprised me with this film was it never really cops out or goes in a super predictable kind of a dumb way. It earns everything. There's nothing cheap that happens in this. Everything's 100% earned. And, with an Oscar-based sort of film, it's kind of easy to do something that's really forced and kind of cheap when it tries to earn all of its hardcore emotions, but Places in the Heart, it doesn't do that. This earns every little bit of emotion that it has, happy or sad. Sally Field was 100% deserving of her Oscar win. Malkovich was deserving of his nomination. Wonderful film, love it. So I want to give Places in the Heart from 1984 3.5 stars out of 4.